So now we will pay homage to the Buddha by reciting Namo Tassa 3 times. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Sama Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Sama Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Sama Sambuddhassa. So today we will start talking about Chitta, consciousness. So as we have already known, Chitta is very common, mind or consciousness we translate into English. But whenever we say the Pali words, Chitta, we also have to remember this is just knowing the object. So now, whenever we are going to talk about ultimate reality, there will be the characteristics, the function, manifestation, approximate cause. So now the conscious aggregates. If we say generally, the characteristics of consciousness is that knowing the object, vijanana, or taking anything as an object. So it's just knowing the object. The function is leading in Bali Bobangama or other associated mental factors to know the object, or the leading factor of knowing the object. So that means, as we have learned in Dhammavada, you may have known the first stanza, Manobobangama, Dhamma, Manosita, Manomaya, we have this kind of stanza. They are mentioned, mind is a forerunner. That means mind leads all the mental factors. So, according to Abhidhamma, there are some mental factors, they cannot arise all the time, but mind will arise all the time in any situation. So that means without mind, without consciousness, mental factors cannot arise. That's why we say mind is a leader or forerunner. The manifestation of mind is processing without interruption. So the mind will arise without any interruptions continuously, like a flowing river, right? Like a waterfall. It will fall, the water will flow in high speeds in the waterfall. Similarly, the mind will arise like a waterfall in high speeds. The mind will arise and perish very rapidly. Also, in Abhidhamma, we have already explained within one finger snaps, millions of consciousness can arise and perish continuously as a process. So they are arising and perishing very high speeds. That's why, right? We are always knowing something. Sometimes our objects are not very clear. There's also consciousness there. Okay, now this is the last one is that Nama Rupa is the approximate cause. So Nama, that means all types of mental factors, associated mental factors, and also Rupa means all types of materialities. For example, like when we see something, the color is also Rupa, materiality. This is also one of the objects, right? Then this is also called Rupa. So these are the approximate cause. Okay, now we have to introduce briefly. So it will take a little bit of time to digest all the things. But anyway, we should try our best, right? Okay, now the first column, which is the Asobana. The second column, we have Sobana. Sorry, the first column, the first row, Asobana. Second row, Sobana. Asobana means ugly or not beautiful. But for Asobana means beautiful. So we can have beautiful mind or ugly mind, we can say like that, right? Okay, now we have to start with the 12 akusala that means 𝐴𝐻𝐭𝐬𝐿 consciousness. Later I will explain in detail. Among the 12 𝐴𝐻𝐭𝐬𝐿, there are 8 lobha. Lobha means greed-rooted consciousness. 2 dosa, that means hatred-rooted consciousness. Also 2 moha, delusion-rooted consciousness. Altogether, there are 12. In the second column, the second row, 18 ahetuka. Ahetuka means unroots or known roots. The 7 agusala vipaka, that means 𝐴𝐻𝐭𝐬𝐿 resetting consciousness. Also 8 kusala vipaka, 8 wholesome resetting consciousness, and 3 kiriya, 3 functional consciousness. So these 2, agusala and ahetuka, are called asobana. Then we have 24 kamavachara, the second column, the third row. So in the next column, we also mentioned, I just explained in detail, 8 kusala, that means 8 wholesome consciousness, 8 vipaka, 8 resetting consciousness, 8 kiriya, 8 functional consciousness, altogether 24. 8 multiplied by 3 is 34, right? So altogether, 12 agusala, 18 ahetuka, 24 kamavachara. These are called karma chitta. Because of the kamavachara chitta, we can find in the 4th column, right? Karma chitta. So after that, we have a 15 rupavachara. Rupavachara means 15 5 material jhanas, 5 material consciousness. So they also mention 5 kusala, 5 wholesome consciousness, 5 vipaka, 5 resetting consciousness, and 5 kiriya, 5 functional consciousness. Altogether 15. These are called rupavachara. Then 12 arupavachara, 4 kusala, 4 wholesome consciousness, 4 vipaka, 4 resetting consciousness, 4 kiriya, 4 functional consciousness. These 15 rupavachara and 12 arupavachara are called mahagata. They are superior consciousness compared to kamavachara. In our daily life, we have just normal consciousness. It can be wholesome or unwholesome. But in the case of jhana, actually 12 or 15 rupavachara and arupavachara, these are actually jhana consciousness. So they are very pure. They have very, when we have jhana, we have very pure minds. Then, okay, finally we have 8 lokuttara citta. If we elaborate, then there will be 14 lokuttara citta also. So that means up to arupavachara we call lokiya citta, right? Maybe nearly the second to the end, the row, the lokiya, right? We have 81 lokiya citta. So if we add 8 lokuttara citta, it will be 89. If we say only 40 lokuttara citta, 40 means there will be 20 path consciousness, 20 fruition consciousness, altogether 40. So that means it will be 121 citta consciousness. These are just brief introductions. I have to elaborate one by one all the group. Okay, now we should start the next one in the 12 agusala citta. So they are mentioned, we have 2 different types of feeling. 8 greed-rooted consciousness, right? Mentioned. I already list out, but here we should talk about 8 greed-rooted consciousness. So we have 2 different types of feeling. Somanasa, ubeka. Somanasa means happy or pleasant. Ubeka means equanimity. So when we are greedy, or when we greed arises in our mental process, sometimes we will be happy, sometimes we may have only normal mind, equanimity. Mostly we have equanimity. It depends on the object. For example, like a desirable object. It will be many different desirable objects, right? According to the personality, they'll give me different desirable objects. Okay, for example, different living beings, different desirable objects, such as like a pig and a human being. Similarly, like a buffalo and a human being. We enjoy in different places. Buffalo will delight in the mat, in the water, like a muddy area, right? They can smear their body with the mat. So this is their desirable objects. But we people dislike mat, right? Muddy area. We don't want to live in the muddy area. It's very smelly also. Similarly, like a pig, also the same. They like muddy area, although they eat different types of, they make their own food. We dislike this kind of food, right? Anyway, the main thing is, when there's a desirable object, sometimes naturally it's undesirable because mind make desirable. Our mind make it desirable. It depends on our conditions. Sometimes we like undesirable things also. Okay, here we have many different ways of approach of desirable and undesirable. For example, okay, durian. When seeing the cover, outer shell, right? This is it, very gross, very rough, undesirable. After opening, desirable. It will be desirable, the smell will be desirable for somebody and desirable for somebody. It can be two different, right? Anyway, so according to our eye-enjoyment process, our eyes, it will look good. Smell, maybe for somebody it will be good, for another one it will be bad. But the taste for Tando is good. So it depends on the dose. It depends on what we like or dislike. There can be different types of desirable objects, different types of undesirable objects. So sometimes we may be greedy when we have desirable object or the most desirable object sometimes. But here in this case, like a Buddha, right? Buddha is the most desirable object. So sometimes undesirable object or mind-made undesirable object, we may have equanimity. We are not that happy. So whenever we have greed, we have two different types of feeling. Then again, we have to distinguish two different things about Titikata Samyutta, Titikata Vibhuta. In Somanasa also Titikata Samyutta, Titikata Vibhuta. Ubeka also Titikata Samyutta, Titikata Vibhuta. What does it mean, Titikata? Teaching me wrong view. Samyutta means associate with wrong view. Sometimes we have attachments, also we also have wrong view at the same time. So we may have many different types of wrong views. For example, like, oh, this one will be, right? This one will be less long, for example. But actually, everything is impermanent, right? We can say less long, greedy. And sometimes we say, oh, it will not last long. This will be that. But anyway, when we're proud of it, proud of getting something, proud of having something, in this case, that will be that. So sometimes we also feel happy. We also have wrong view. Okay. Then there are many different simile. When we say wrong view, this means we don't believe or we don't accept karma ownership. Everything will arise naturally. Everything will disappear naturally. There are many other causes to make something happen or to make something disappear. Anyway, if we don't accepts cause-effect relationship, you have ditthi samyutta. So without accepting karma ownership, that we may kill animal, living beings happily for food, for eating. We may go for fishing happily. That we will not accept karma ownership. This is food, right? In this case, ditthi samyutta or somanasa. Sometimes we have only just normal minds, not that much happy. Actually, in our daily life, most of the time we have only upekkha, equanimity. Maybe only a few times, maybe a few hours in one day, we may have happiness. Anyway, so we may have two different ditthi samyutta, ditthi vibhyutta. So somanasa upekkha multiplied by 2. Samyutta and vibhyutta, it will be 4. Then each consciousness, there will be asankharika and sasankharika. Asankharika means unprompt. Now you have the previous one. Sasankharika means prompted. So, what does that mean, asankharika? Sometimes we eagerly do. Nobody need to encourage us to do something good or something bad. At that time, we can say asankharika. So we may be greedy without encouraged by anybody, without supporting, we ourselves become greedy. Asankharika. Sasankharika, sometimes supported by somebody, we become greedy. Okay, for example, okay, I have a god, Rakora, okay? Rakora. So I don't know the price. I don't have that much greedy. But somebody who knows something about this Rakora, he may say, oh, this is very expensive, very good quality. In the very beginning, I don't have that much greedy, not that much attachment to this one. But when somebody says it's very expensive, very good quality, and because of listening, greedy. Okay, sasankharika. Okay, I don't have anybody who talk about this Rakora. Okay, and just check on the internet, right? The name of the Rakora and also how they are functioning, all the setting and everything, how useful it is. After reading articles or manual, oh, this is very good quality, then I will become greedy, for example. I have attachment to it more. So this is it. By reading, greed arise, sasankharika. So it's supported by external, somebody or something. Also, sometimes we have to, okay, please try to protect this one. Try to protect this one. We have to encourage ourselves. This is it, right? Useful for you. Then encourage, like forcing us ourselves, forcing myself, for example. It will be sasankharika. So sometimes like I'm a little bit lazy. Right? I don't wish to do. I don't want to meditate, for example, right? Then I have to encourage to meditate. This is also sasankharika. But here, in the case of agusala, greed, right? So, okay, in the very beginning, I don't have that much greed. I have to encourage, okay, please try to get something in this day. Encouraging. This is also called sasankharika. We have to motivate. We have to encourage ourselves to be greedy. In this case, sasankharika. Sometimes because of chinamita, sloth and torpor, or drowsiness, because of laziness, there can be many reasons. Minds are not that much active. We have to encourage to be active, to get something. In this case, sasankharika. So, okay, if we calculate, okay, I will calculate, right? The first one is it, pleasant feeling, certainly with wrong view, prompted and unprompted to consciousness. Also arise together with pleasant feeling, dissociate with wrong view, blunted and unblunted too. Similarly, equanimity, rise together with equanimity. After that, associate with wrong view, blunted and unblunted. So rising together with equanimous feeling, dissociated with wrong view, blunted and unblunted, altogether 8 types of greed-rooted consciousness. So mostly greed, when we have desirable objects, mostly greed arises. So it depends on what we like most. If we like too much, it can be somanasa. If we don't like that much, just normal, ubeka, medium, right? Medium mind or middle mind, not that active. Okay, we should continue the next one about dosa mula citta. That means 2 hatred-rooted consciousness. So whenever we talk about domanasa, that means this is like a hatred. Patika samyutta associated with aversion. Asankarika and sasankarika, again, blunted and unblunted and blunted. Okay, sometimes much easy to get angry. I don't have, for example, we don't have a short temper, but somebody encourage us, why you are so patient? She's insulting you. Why you don't fight? Huh? You don't try to do something. So encouraged by somebody, we will get angry. Right? Mostly the dosa mula citta. What about lobha? Actually, if with something good, right? Lobha, we can get something. We can enjoy something. What about dosa? We cannot enjoy anything because of domanasa. Unpleasant mind, unpleasant feeling. This unpleasant feeling also associated with aversion. Sometimes we naturally get angry at the time, sasankarika. Okay, one more thing I have to introduce something about dosa. Mostly we translate as a hatred. I have said many times, now I have to repeat the same things for your information. Dosa means fear, worry, sorry, lamentation, sorrow, lamentation, despair, right? Depression. All the unpleasant feeling in our mind is called dosa. So it will be asankarika, or it will be blunted, or it can be unblunted. It depends on the condition we have. Now we also have many reasons of dosa. For example, if we see something we dislike, we may have a dosa. When we see fearful object, fear may arise, dosa. This is also dosa. So this one is a really undesirable object. Previous one, desirable object, right? This one's totally undesirable object. So sometimes we have a mind-made undesirable objects. For example, like Buddha. Buddha is a desirable object. Buddha didn't make any problem. Although he has already destroyed or eradicated all the defilements. But for non-Buddhists, Buddha is also enemy for them. That is why it will be undesirable object. This is mind-made undesirable. Naturally, it is desirable, but mind-made undesirable. At the time, it also can be domanasa. As I have said before, right? It depends on our conditions, what we like or dislike. Sometimes, although it is desirable, it can be undesirable when our mind is cheated. Sometimes undesirable, then if we like, is it desirable? So it depends on the conditions. We have different objects for this one. Okay, now we have the next group, moha, delusion. So delusion is only equanimous feeling. When we have delusion or illusions or ignorance, our mind is not very clear. We're gonna feel happy. It's very clear, right? Unclear, that means unclear, we're gonna feel happy. Ubeka, equanimity. Vicikicca Sampayutta associated with doubt or skepticism. So here we have many different types of doubts. Because sometimes, when we talk about vicikicca, people also misunderstand if we talk about the day or night, this is a vicikicca. No, this is not vicikicca. It's not very harmful for us, right? Sometimes we may think, oh, morning as an evening, evening as a morning, because of different time zone. In this case, we cannot say vicikicca. So in the case of vicikicca, that means we may have a doubt about Buddha's quality, Dhamma's quality, Sangha's quality. These are called vicikicca. Not only that, if we have doubt about karma ownership, this is also vicikicca. When we have doubt about the benefit of morality, the benefit of concentration, the benefit of wisdom or vipassana, then this is called vicikicca. When we have doubt about the past, present, and future lives, this is also vicikicca. So when we have doubt about dependent origination, paticca samuppada, this is also called vicikicca. So just normal doubts are important things, right, in our life. This is not really called vicikicca. It's very important for us. For example, like when we are going to practice, we must believe the three trainings and the benefit of three trainings. If we don't believe, we're going to improve. So this is also important. So vicikicca, whenever we have doubt, or we can also say indecision, we cannot decide is it right or wrong. Right? For example, the Buddha. Buddha has already indicated refinements. Is it really or not? We cannot make any decision. Indecision, this is also called vicikicca. The uddhacca sampayutta associated with restlessness. So restlessness means we cannot take one single object, we cannot grasp one object very strictly. This is called uddhacca. Means like a waving, shaking, like a arch, right? Like an arch, a mass of arch throw a stone into the arch. So it will splash everywhere. All the arch will fly. Similarly, our mind is sometimes like a blur. We don't have any clear objects and flying here and there. In this case, we can say uddhacca, restlessness. So when we have uddhacca, we also have delusion, illusion. That's why these two are called delusion-rooted consciousness. Okay, one more thing here I have to introduce about delusion. So sometimes because lack of learning, we don't learn properly. That's why we don't know. In this case, we cannot say delusion or illusion. We're going to say moha in Bali. Moha or avijja, they are synonym. We're going to say moha or we're going to say avijja because this is a lack of learning. We don't learn properly. That's why we don't know. But here in the case of moha, that means if we don't know full noble truths, this is the moha. So, for example, we may not know the noble truth of suffering, the origin of suffering, the cessation of suffering, also the path leading to the cessation of suffering. Now, if we don't know all these things, this is called moha. Now, not only that, we also have like a past, present, future. We have lives, right? So past lives and future lives. If we don't know about the past, about the future, this is also called moha, delusion. So if we can know, this is not delusion. The another one is the dependent origination. If we don't know the dependent origination, this is also called 𝐕𝐢𝐬𝐻. So this is also called moha, delusion or illusion. Okay, so now these are 12 unwholesome consciousness. So these are the unwholesome consciousness we can have every day in any conditions. Then they also function as a repository of the impulsion consciousness. Especially in our daily life, when we see some design objects, we may have a greed, right? At the time, this greed is one of the consciousness. It becomes an impulsion in the mental process. So anyway, we also have to know the characteristics, the function, the manifestation, the proximate cause of akusala. So the characteristics of akusala is blameable savaja or miserable result, dukkha vipaka. So I have to elaborate a little bit more about savaja, blameable. Sometimes we will blame ourselves after making some mistake. We feel guilty, then we may blame ourselves. It's called savaja. We call in Bali attanuwada. We just accuse ourselves or we just complain ourselves. Also can be blamed by other people. If somebody see or somebody hear, somebody knows our mistakes, then they will complain. They will blame us. This is also called one of the problems. Another one is punishment, according to the law. Not only that, the punishment in the hell also can be as a blameable. Then for miserable results, so mostly like a lobha, for example, in the very beginning is really very good, right? Gradually, it will cause a lot of suffering, a lot of problem. What about dosa? Actually, since dosa start arising, then sure, it will bring unpleasant feeling, miserable results. So this is the characteristics of akusala. The function is to bring discomfort or unprofitable. Yeah, anatta janana. Actually, yeah, janana also can be considered as like a producing. So it will produce something discomfort or something unprofitable. Right? This is the function. The manifestation is as impurity, sankiresa. At the time, mind becomes impure. Sometimes we are influenced by lobha, greed. Mind becomes very terrible. Sometimes we are influenced by dosa. Our mind becomes very terrible, impurity. Similarly, delusion or illusion or ignorance, also skepticism, doubts, restlessness, it makes mind impure. This is the manifestation. It will appear in our mind, right? Then the proximate cause is unwise intention. So that means sometimes our mind can accept everything normally. After that, we can also change our mind easily. Then in order that unwholesome thoughts may not arise. When we have many unwholesome thoughts, it comes from agamasa, unwise attention. So unwise attention is the causes of all the unwholesome mental factors and consciousnesses. We have another way, another explanation in the list. There is by the contemptible property, the contemptible Another one, bind the contemptible property, power. The characteristics is the false or blamable. The next slide. Okay, this one is it. The false or blamable, right? Savaja. How I talk about savaja. But the function is the property of impurity. Sangilesa bhava. It has the nature of impurity, right? This is the property of impurity. The manifestation is as undesirable results and the mode of effect. Here we can say anicca vipaka. Actually, anicca also can be considered as undesirable. So when we have greed, we may expect only desirable things, but actually there can be many undesirable things. Frequently, whenever we talk about sensual pleasure, right? I also use the same simile, the same example, like having lunch, for example. So you may have know how to cook. If you cook for lunch, it will take a few hours. You may have many dishes, many desserts, or many other things. That is why it will take time. But when you eat, within 20 minutes, finish. After that, you have to wash all the material we have cooked, right? Or wash, we have to clean everything. So we have very short time, a very short moment for enjoyment, but we have more time to suffer. Whether we desire or undesire, we like or dislike, we have to do it, right? So that means when we want to eat more food, we are busy more. Right? Okay, that means we call the anicca vipaka, undesirable results, right? Whether we like or dislike, this is the result. The Rosemary call is unwise attention, ayonisomanasikkara. Actually, I have already talked about this before. That's why I don't need to explain very much in detail. Okay. Then again, we have to move to the next one. So, okay, here we have divided into two groups in the first row. 7 akusala vipaka, 8 kusala vipaka. So here we have the resultant consciousness, right? Akusala vipaka means unwholesome resultant consciousness. Mostly when we see undesirable, when we have some undesirable objects or mind-made undesirable objects, there we, the first one, the first group, 7 akusala vipaka. Then when we see desirable objects or mind-made desirable objects, it will be 8 kusala vipaka. When we have intimate object, right? So, okay, the first four iron consciousness, there are two types: wholesome resultant or unwholesome resultant. Both are associated with equanimity, upekkha. Then similarly, sota, that means ear consciousness, ghana, nose consciousness, jihva, tongue consciousness. So these four have upekkha feeling, equanimized feeling. So eye consciousness will arise only in the eye door, right? Similarly, ear consciousness will arise only in the ear. Nose consciousness on the nose, tongue consciousness in the tongue. These four have upekkha, equanimized feeling. Therefore, about kaya, body consciousness. In the first group, 7 akusala vipaka, dukkha, that means unpleasant feeling or displeasure. So then we won't our body touch with very gross one, like for example, needle, right? You have been to hospital, injection. Hey, because of touching, dukkha. So similarly, sukha, pleasant, like a kind of a very fine, pleasant feeling on touching our body. This is called sukha, pleasant feeling. So, eye, ears, nose, tongue, body. So there will be 5 unwholesome receptors, 5 wholesome receptors, altogether 10. After that, we have ubeka, equanimities, sampaditthana, receiving consciousness. Also sandirana means we got the investigation consciousness. But for about 8 wholesome receptors, ubeka, sampaditthana, receiving consciousness, okay, only ubeka. For about investigating consciousness, there will be somanasa and ubeka, pleasant feeling and equanimous feeling, 2 different things. So this sandirana also function as a revert linking consciousness for ahituka, unroot living beings, such as animals, hair beings, some betas, ghosts, right? Then they may have these, right? Ubeka sandirana, 2 ubeka sandirana as like a reverting in consciousness. Okay, there are many different functions. For example, like a eye, ear, nose, tongue, body consciousness only is okay, not really a big problem. What about sampaditthana? They may have receiving function. Sandirana have many other functions. Okay, later we have to introduce again. So after that, we also have 3 functional consciousness among the ahituka. So here we can find ubeka, feeling, equanimous feeling, panja dwara vajana, that means mind door elevating, 5 door elevating consciousness. Manodara vajana, that is mind door elevating consciousness. So in every single mental process, there will be 5 door elevating consciousness or mind door elevating consciousness. For example, one eye consciousness, ear consciousness, nose consciousness, tongue consciousness, and body consciousness arises. Then there will be 5 door elevating consciousness. If we think about something, that means mind door, right? We just use our mind to know something, to see something at the time, mind door elevating consciousness. So somanasa, pleasant feeling, hesitobara means mind produce consciousness. So actually, hesitobara is only for arhats and the Buddhas and Pacceka Buddhas. So when the Buddha smile, or when arhat and arhat smile, at the time, somanasa hesitobara, this functional consciousness. So if we have not produced any life, any kusala or akusala karma that's functional, arhat and Buddha does not have any defilements. That's why it cannot produce any new life or new karma. Okay, so these are called 18 unrooted consciousness. We have 7 wholesome resetting consciousnesses, 8 wholesome resetting consciousnesses, 3 functional consciousnesses, altogether 18. So today we have to introduce a few more things about all these consciousness, part by part. So the first one is 2 eye consciousnesses. So first we have to introduce why we can see. There must be eye translucency. That means our eye must be good. For your understanding, right? But in what Vidama, we can say iron translucency must be good. If our iron translucency is fine, cannot see anymore. So iron must be good, or iron translucency must be good. Another one is there must be the light. If there's no light in the dark room, although we have good eyesight, we cannot see anything. Another one is a visible object. Without visible object also we cannot see. Then the most important thing is our mind. When our mind have intention to see, we can see it. Sometimes, we get lost our minds, right? Although it's very close to us, we cannot see. You may have this kind of experience there, right? Sometimes your friends are talking to you, showing something in front of you, but you cannot see whether you are not paying attention to it. So intention is also important. Okay, so briefly, iron translucency, visible objects, the light, there must be intention. Then we can see the objects. So here the iron consciousness, the characteristic of iron consciousness is recognizing the visible data that arises depending on iron translucency. So that means iron consciousness can see only one thing. The function is to have only visible data as an object. Oh, okay. As its object, right? This is it. Rupamada Ramana. Anyway, let me have only visible data as objects. The manifestation is as a occupation with or facing or turning towards visible shadows. The iron consciousness will turn to the visible objects or facing toward visible objects. Then the proximate cause is the disappearance of functional mind elements that has visible data as its objects. So, Ruparamanaya, Viriya Mano Dhatuya, Apagama means disappearance. Okay, here we have to introduce again about Mano Dhatu, mind element. So when we say mind elements, it means two receiving consciousness. After that, 5 abiding consciousness. These two are called mind elements. Okay, now later when we study Patthana, actually you can also experience, you can also learn the same thing for another Pachayo, right? Then you can learn again. Anyway, so now today it should be very simple, right? It's too heavy also not really very good for you. Okay, now again, 2 ear consciousness. Okay, now I have to introduce why we can hear. Then there must be ear translucency. Our ear translucency must be good. If our ear translucency is not really very good, we cannot hear. Another one is the sound, audible objects. If the sound is so subtle or unclear, we cannot hear. Another one is space between the sound. There must be space. If no space, like there's a wall, right, between the sound and our ear, we cannot hear anymore. There must be open space without any blockage. Then we must pay attention. This is also important. If we don't pay attention, we cannot hear, right? Sometimes, although somebody is talking to us, we don't hear because we don't pay attention to it. So these are the causes or origin of ear consciousnesses. So the characteristics is recognizing the sound data that arises depending on the ear translucency. So that's Sanisita, Sada, Vijanana. The function is to have only sound data as its objects, Sada, Madaramana. The manifestation is as occupation with, facing or turning towards sound data, Sada, Bimukha, Bhava. The prosemic cause is the disappearance of the functional mind element that has a sound data as its object. Sadaramanaya, Kiriya, Mano, Dhatuya, Bhagama. So later when we study mental process, you can also know all these things. But now it's very far from mental process. If we talk about mental process, it will be very heavy. Okay, now we have to move the next one about two nose consciousnesses. So as we have known these consciousnesses, so when we have nose consciousness, then there will be some reasons arising of these two nose consciousnesses. So our nose translucency must be good. If our nose translucency is not really very good, we cannot smell. Sometimes we call it sick, right? Then we cannot smell. You know, COVID-19, no smell, right? You can, many of you have experienced that one. But I have never lost smell. That's why I don't know. Anyway, then the main thing is, okay, the main thing, okay, I just want to say, in the COVID-19, although I have got COVID-19, I don't lost smell, okay? That's why not that much serious for me. Anyway, the main thing is, there must be smell. There must be nose translucency. In between these two, there must be the wind element. The wind will bring the smell to our nose. Without wind elements, we cannot smell. But not only that, intention, as we have said before, right? Intention. If we don't pay attention to it, we cannot smell anymore. Okay, now all of them will be same to previous one. The characteristics is cognizant smell data that arises depending on the nose translucency. The function is to have only smell data as its object. The manifestation is as occupation with, facing or turning towards smell data. The prosemic cause is the disappearance of the functional mind element that has smell data as its object. So these are the characteristics, the function, the manifestation, the prosemic cause of nose consciousness. Okay, now follow up, tongue consciousness. Why the tongue consciousness can arise, can arise. So here, our tongue consciousness must be good, sometimes no taste, right? When we have some sickness, no taste. Then there must be the flavor, the object. Then not only that, there must be the water elements. For example, like a stone, you know, drying, no taste. Some of the bone is drying, no taste. The one is wet, there's a taste. Okay, that means water elements is one of the cause, one of the reason. Otherwise, the intention. We must pay attention to it, then we can taste it. Sometimes, you know, when we eat something very hot food, right? Now we cannot choose properly. We just swallow as quick as possible because it's too hot. Sometimes we just spit out. We don't know the taste anymore because we cannot pay attention to the taste because hot is stronger than the taste. So anyway, the main thing is sometimes, although we are eating, we don't know the taste sometimes, if we don't pay attention to it. If we pay attention to it, we will know the taste. Okay, the characteristic will be similar to before. The characteristic is recognizing the flavor data that arises depending on the tongue translucency. The function is to have only flavor data as its object. The manifestation is as occupation with, facing or turning towards flavor data. The proximate cause is the disappearance of the functional mind element that has flavor data as its object. So we have to move to the next one, body consciousness. So here we have two body consciousness. So sometimes our body is not really very sensitive. Some part of our body is very sensitive that we can see, we can feel. For example, head hair, right? Some people may have very long head hair. If somebody touch head hair, they may not know. Very limited, very little sensitivity. So then it cannot feel clearly. There's some part of head hair, like inside the head, right? We can also feel sensitivity. Anyway, the main thing is, and there's a dry skin, for example, some of the skin are not really working anymore. Then we're going to feel any sensation. Some of the scar, maybe we're going to feel any sensation. Also can be, and it depends on our body parts. Okay. Then anyway, our body, the body translucency must be good enough. Then there must be very clear, tangible objects. Another one is earth element between these two. For example, tangible objects also earth elements. There's also body translucency, earth element in the body translucency. They will touch. Then we can feel. The main thing is intention. If we pay attention, we can feel. If we don't pay attention, we cannot feel. Okay, these are the reasons of the arising of body consciousness. Okay, now the characteristics is recognizing tangible objects, tangible data that arises depending on the body translucency. The function is to have only tangible object as its object. Sorry, tangible data as its object. The manifestation is as occupation with, facing or turning towards tangible data. The proximate cause is the disappearance of the functional mind element that has tangible data as its object. So these are the characteristics, the function, the manifestation, the proximate causes of body consciousness. So eye consciousness, ear consciousness, nose consciousness, hand consciousness, body consciousnesses, they are a little bit similar, but changing the objects. They give me different causes of arising. So we may have many different things in our body. Like for example, body translucency can arise everywhere. I've already talked about it in the Rupa chapter, right? Material aggregates. So if something touch our body, we can feel. At the time, there will be body consciousness. So there will be many other mental factors that arise together with body consciousness or all other consciousnesses. Then they will arise as a mental process. Okay, so we have to move. The next one, receiving consciousness. The two receiving consciousnesses. So why we call this one as a receiving consciousness? It will receive all the objects. It will function like a receiving. Okay, here the characteristics is 𝐾𝐚 visible data. That means it depends on the mental process. It can be sound, smell, taste, tangible objects. Then, respectively, right? Then immediately next to eye consciousness and so on. So it depends on mental process. After eye consciousness, after ear consciousness, nose consciousness, tongue consciousness, body consciousness, then one of the receiving consciousness will arise. So it will know the same objects. For example, when it follow eye consciousness, it will see, it will take visible data as objects. When it arises after ear consciousness, audible objects, then similarly, it will know the sound objects. When it arises after tongue consciousness, it will be, right? It will know the flavor. When it arises after the nose consciousness, it will know the smell. When it arises after the body consciousness, it will know the tangible objects. So, okay, for our function, the function is to receive visible data and so on. It depends on, okay, mental process, right? It will receive. The manifestation is as the state corresponding to that receiving visible data and so on. So that means it depends on the mental process. There will be different object, right? The proximity cause is the disappearance of eye consciousness and so on. Right? It depends on mental process also. So there will be, okay, I have to just list out different mental process, right? When we see, eye-dome mental process. When we hear, ear-dome mental process. When we smell, nose-dome mental process. When we taste, tongue-dome mental process. When we touch, at the time we can say body-dome mental process. When we think, mind-dome mental process. So here in this case, it depends on types of mental process. For example, eye-dome mental process, there will be eye consciousness. Ear-dome mental process, ear consciousness, and so forth. You can understand the proximity cause, right? Okay, now we have to continue the three investigating consciousness. So here we just say that we just use the Pali word santirana, investigation. Although we say investigation, but there are many other functions. Anyway, later we have to introduce all other functions, but today we just say very simple things. So the characteristic is the cognizance of 6 kinds of objects. We are Salayarana, Vijnana. 6 kinds of objects mean we have, right, visible objects, audible, smell, also the flavor, tangible, also mind objects, altogether 6. Then the function is that investigating, and so on. Actually, there are many different investigations. It's good and bad, it will investigate. Right? So this is a, okay, what kind of object it will investigate. After that, it will proceed another process. Okay, well, maybe it will be in the process. Anyway, so function is just investigating. It will function as investigating. So you can know previous one also. Somebody cannot receiving also only knowing, cognizing. Cognizing is only knowing, cognizing. The function is receiving. Now here, the function is investigating. The manifestation is the state of corresponding to that investigating visible data and so on. So it will be, same as before. The proximity cause is the heart base area two. Why is it changed like this? Right? So, so previous one is very close to eye consciousness. That's why this one eye consciousness is one only. the proximate cause. Here, in this case, the investigating consciousness also can be registering mind in the future. It can also function later. Now here we just say only one function, right? Investigating function. It can also function like a registering. That's why here we just proximate cause is heart base, area 2. Okay, now we have to go the next one. 5-0 abiding consciousness. So when we say 5-0, that means we have 5 senses, right? Eye, ears, nose, tongue, body. There are also 5 types of mental process: endo mental process, ear do, nose do, tongue do, body do mental process. So in every single mental process, in the very beginning, the mind will advance to the object. For example, endo mental process, the mind will advance to the color or visual data. That is why here the characteristic is being the forerunner of unconsciousness, etc., and recognizing or knowing visual data and so on. So I've already said it depends on the mental process, right? So it will arise together with endo mental process, ear mental process, nose do, tongue do, body do mental process. That's why there will be different state of arising. That's why they are forerunner. Like a preceding mind moments of eye consciousness, ear consciousness, nose consciousness, tongue consciousness, and body consciousness. The function is to advance. It will advance the mind to the object. This is called adverting. The manifestation is as confirmation of visual data and so on. Actually, we can also say like it just turning to the object as possible. Anyway, this is the first mind moment and the mental process. Then the proximate cause is the interruption of life continuum. So actually, those who have learned Vidhamata Sangha or Vidhama or mental process, they will understand this one, right? For those who have never learned Vidhama, well, not that easy to understand all these parts. Okay, so we have to move. The next one, mindful adverting consciousness. So mindful adverting consciousness can take any of 6 objects. It can also take, for example, okay, we can just say practical approach now. Sometimes we have seen in the past, we just close our eyes, just imagine or think about the past, all the things will come to our minds. That means this is mindful adverting. Or mind advert to the objects, past objects. Then this is also, for the future also we can imagine, right? We also think about our future. The mind also can go to the future. So it can be color, sound, smell, taste, tangible, or any of mind objects. This mindful adverting can advert to know the objects. This one, the characteristic is recognizing the 6 kinds of objects. Salayana, Salaramana, Vijanana. The function is to determine at the 5-do and to avert the mind-do. Okay, one more thing. Determine. So sometimes we also call in Bhadavotapana. Determine. Okay, it's in this case, determine it doesn't mean very strong determination, right? That's determine. Also, advance in the mind-do. That means this one can arise both in the 5-do, also can be mind-do. That means any of mental process. That's why here we just do two different things, right? Determine, that means we just say what happened now. Now the advatami, avajana. Okay, manifestation is as the states of determining or adverting corresponding to those that's mentioned two function. Okay, that means we have already said two different function, right? Then we may have the proximate cause. It can be very long. For those who have never learned mental process, may not understand this one. The proximate cause is the disappearance either of the resultant mind consciousness elements without root cause in the first case, or of one among the kind of life continuum. The second, in the second means the mind about consciousness. So it depends on the mental process. There will do different things, right? Okay, that means we can say preceding mind moment is the proximate cause. Then again, we can continue the next one. Smile produce. It will be the last one for today. So smile produce consciousness in our hearts. Although I say our hearts also can be for in Pajika Buddha or Buddha. They also are heart, right? So this just smile producing. So when we smile with defilements. Sometimes we have kusala mind, right? When the Buddha, Pajika Buddha or has smile, no defilements, no kusala, then they're just smiling. Okay, so now here, the characteristic is the combination of the 6 kinds of objects. It can be any object, right? The function is to cause smiling in our hearts about things that are not sublime. Yeah, not sublime means, right? Not very strong, right? For example, you may have known the case of Venerable Mahamoggallana when seeing ghosts, he smiled. Then Venerable Lakhana asked him, why he smiled? Right? That means when seeing the ghost, he feels, oh, I'm free from all these things. It doesn't mean, oh, it doesn't mean he's happy to see this kind of thing, right? He's just happy about himself. Okay, I'm free from all this kind of suffering. So this kind of, actually, this is an undesirable object, right? They are suffering. Unhungry ghosts, they are suffering. Burning. Their bodies are burning. There's also suffering. When seeing that, why he smile? People may think, oh, he's happy when seeing that, that's why he smile, right? Not like this. He's free release. Or I'm free from all this kind of suffering. So anyway, the function is just producing a smile, okay? The manifestation is as the state of corresponding to that, let's mention function. Okay, let me in the function already mentioned. The proximate cause is always the heart base. So you may have learned anything about the Buddha smiling, Arhat smiling, Vajra Buddha smiling, and the Buddha story or Jataka story, sorry, and the Dhammapada or many other stories, Suttas. Then whenever you hear the one or you have read this one, remember this one, smile produce. Always the undesirable object, they can smile. Why? That means they have sense of urgency. That's why they smile. Right? Okay. These are, we call 12 unwholesome consciousness, 18 unrooted consciousnesses. They may have many different other functions. It was not like like investigating consciousness, there will be many other functioning. But here I will not mention all the things. It will be very heavy for all the listeners. But later we will introduce. So when we are going to practice Vipassana, we must know wholesome and unwholesome. So whether wholesome or unwholesome in our mental process, there will be unrooted consciousness in the process. For example, when we see something, there will be phyto-avoidant consciousnesses. One of the other phyto-avoidant consciousness. After that, I consciousness. After that, receiving, investigation, determination. After that, impulsion, registration. These are called mental process. After that, back continuum. So this is called mental process. So when we can know the mental process, we can also break the completeness of continuity. Okay, now in modern society, previously when we see the movie, like a movie film, right? Film. There are many like to move one hand, there can be many different pictures. But now in modern society, how to go this one? Like when we extract movie, right? For example, 1 minute, I don't know, 1 second, how many photo? 50 photo, or something like that, right? Okay. Anyway, in 1 second, many photos, right? 1 second video. If we extract video, there can be many photos. So similarly, the 1 second, there can be million of mind moments. It can rise and perish. So in this way, we can know the mental process. In every single mental process, there are many mind moments. The combinations of mind moments become mental process. Then, with many mental process, we can see one thing continuously. So, if we can discern mental factors and also their function, also the mental process, their rise and impression, then we have more perceptions of anicca, dukkha, anatta. We have stronger perceptions of anicca, dukkha, anatta. So today we have already introduced akusala. You have already know akusala, right? For example, in the Sila chapter, we have already talked about akusala. For example, if we summarize bodily actions, bhava actions, and mental action. So we also have many different types of unwholesome bodily actions, many different types of bhava actions, many different types of mental actions. According to the conditions, there can be many different types of unwholesome consciousnesses. It can be lobha, dosa, or moha. In every single cases, then there will be mental process. So it's also important to know all these characteristics, function, manifestation, and cosmic cause, in order that we can break down the completeness of function in every single mind moment, every single mental factors and consciousness. Then this is also one of the practice to overcome continuity. When we can know the mental process, we can also overcome continuity competitiveness. When we can know characteristics, function, manifestation, cosmic cause, we can also overcome the function concept impact competitiveness. Then it will be easier for us to understand anicca, dukkha, anatta. So Buddha teachings are very deep and very profound. We have to train ourselves to understand all these things. Today we just introduce only theoretically, but when we can practice vipassana, we can experience practically. So it can be our daily life, right? So may you all be able to practice the Buddha teaching. May you all be able to realize the final cessation and the suffering. Okay.
Dear Theodore, last lecture, Abhaya Kosala. Abhaya Kosala. Abhaya Kosala. In the past lecture, they have talked about Abhaya Kosala. It will bring detrimental. It will be detrimental to the society. Then why it is called wisdom?
Okay.
Because wisdom will not make any mistake. How can it make give detrimental effects to the society?
So that means in this we just say skill. We cannot say wisdom. Okay, kosala means skill. We cannot say wisdom. Abhaya kosala, ubhaya kosala, right? Like this. Okay. The main thing is aya kosala, abhaya kosala. Okay, that means in this case, right? We can say like a skill. Some of the skill can be very harmful for ourselves, harmful for our community, right? So in this case, we cannot say wisdom. This is a skill. Okay. So sometimes, when we analyze, don't think about ultimate reality. Don't think about panya in this case, right? In this case, just think about skill. Okay. Another one?
Dear Theodore, for Manodwara Vajana mind, in what condition Manodwara Vajana mind can take Nibbana as object?
Okay. Actually, when the path and fruition knowledge, the first time arising, right? At the time also, there can be Vajana, Brikama, Uptara, Niloma, Kudragu, Abradet, path and fruition knowledge, right? So, when they enter the fruition attainment of there's a Manoda Vajana, right? In this case, we can say Nibbana as object. So, it depends. It depends. And when the types of mental process, they can take Nibbana as objects. Okay, another one.
So the third question from the 𝐸𝐸. Could Sayadaw please advise when somebody fell in love, what kind of citta arises?
This is the lobha citta, right? So you may think you will live long, right? Then it will be maybe everlasting. Then this can be Jitikata Samyutta, right? Happy Samanasa, sure. Lobha mula citta mostly, right? Okay.
Vandami Sayadaw, there are two Jaku Vijnana mind moments. What are the two Jaku Vijnana?
Okay. Actually, in this case, we have to talk about the mental process, right? Okay. So, I have already said, akusala vibhaka, that means understandable object or man-made understandable object. When seeing that, there will be phyto-advancing consciousness, also unconsciousness, also receiving consciousness, investigating consciousness, determination, impulsion, registration, right? We have this kind of mental process. So it depends on the way that taking the object they take, then it will be different types of unconsciousness. For example, like when we get angry when seeing something, for example, right? However, this it can be sure. One of the akusala also residing consciousness, right? So it depends on the object they take. We have two different types of consciousness.
is it true that the Nibbana as object is taken, means Kotrabu starts to take Nibbana as object? Is that true?
Kotrabu?
Is Kotrabu is the beginning mind moment to take Nibbana as object?
Kotrabu is a change in lineage, right?
Yes, Kotrabu is changing the lineage. Anuloma Kotrabu, and then Magga, and then Palachita. So this Kotrabu, is it the beginning mind moment to take Nibbana as object instead of Magga Chitta?
Okay, let me check again, right? That one's a little bit heavy.
Vandamisiado, following the previous question, when the Magga Chitta arrives, the Manotora Vajana mind moment has already perished. So in this case, this Manotora Vajana mind moment that has perished, would it take ultimate Nama Rupa as object? In the mental process of this Magga Chitta, when the Magga Chitta actually arises, its Manotora Vajana has already perished. So the question is, this Manotora Vajana, does it take ultimate Nama Rupa as object instead of Nibbana?
I'm checking. Okay. Oh, sorry. I don't have enough books in my hand now. Okay. Later. I will check, right?
So, dear Sayadaw, can we say only practice Kayanupassa only?
In which way?
Can we say only practice Kayanupassana only? Vedana Nupassana only? Chittanupassana only? Dhamma Nupassana. Someone can reach Arahanta?
Actually, okay, it depends. Okay, we cannot say exactly, right? For example, only Kayanupassana. This is it, right? For example, there are some Brahma, for example, like Arupa Brahma, right? Arupa. They cannot write this Kayanupassana, right? In Arupa realms, sure, they cannot attain. Right? For example, like Asanya Saddha, they have body, they don't have mind. Okay, anyway, the main thing is it. As the practitioners, we must, although we say Kayanupassana, that means we also have to see Nama. The upside one, Rupa. Similarly, when Anupassana, that means we also have to see all other Nama Rupas, the upside one, Vedana, like this, right? So that means if we can practice properly, it's possible. By practicing only Kayanupassana or Vedanupassana is okay, possible, right?
Yes, Sayadaw, I have a question I don't understand. When Sayadaw explained in the slide, you mentioned the eye has two consciousness, and then ear two consciousness. Can Sayadaw explain what is the two meaning in this consciousness for eye, ear, nose, all this?
Okay, all I know is the same because it depends on the object. Okay, so I also mentioned that the first column or the second column, right? Two columns. Okay, the first column is 7, the second column is 8, right? Okay, anyway.
Yes.
So the first column is Agusala, Vibhaka, that means unwholesome receptions. When we see, hear, smell, taste, touch, undesirable or mind-made undesirable objects, the first group will arise. So when we see hear, smell, taste, touch, or think, desirable objects or might desirable objects, second group will arise. Okay, according to the object image difference.
I see.
Okay.
Okay. Sadhu Bante.
Okay, now the question, okay. Sure, the good Rabu will take Nibbana as object, sure. For other things, doesn't take Nibbana as object, sure. Okay. Okay, now I can have found this reference, okay. The question now, previous question now. The only good Rabu will take Nibbana as object, right? For Nuloma or other things, doesn't take Nibbana as object, sure. Okay. Wada Ja'amehi Sambadam Sabbe Deva Numodandu Sabbe Buddha Numodandu Sabbe Saddha Numodandu Sabba Sambadi Siriya Hidamme Nyatinam Hodu Sukhita Hondu Nyatayo Hidamme Nyatinam Hodu Sukhita Hondu Nyatayo Hidamme Nyatinam Hodu Sukhita Hondu Nyatayo Hidamme Punyam Asavakaya Waham Hodu Hidamme Punyam Nibbanasa Pachayo Hodu Mama Punya Bhagam Sabba Sadanam Bhajemi Te Sabe Me Samam Punya Bhagam Lavandu Sadhu Sadhu Sadhu.